This is West Virginia, born of blood and strife and fierce devotion to the ideal of human liberty. This is the Mountain State, where freedom is a noble tradition. Here lies the fuel to keep the light of liberty burning. This is the homeland of a peace-loving people who learned long ago the art of beating plowshares into swords. Again, the war drums have sounded in the Mountain State, rolling through the valleys, echoing from the hills. From every mountainside, freedom rings. In far-off camps and on distant battlefronts, on land, in the sky, or on the sea, you will find West Virginians standing shoulder to shoulder with the men of 47 other states of our mighty Union. Defense is not enough. Now we are pledged to victory. Mountaineers ever free becomes more than a slogan of West Virginians. Now it's a sacred duty, a challenge, and her people rise to meet it. This is war, and as the nation mobilizes its might, it turns to West Virginia, where so much of its strength is concentrated. West Virginia resources now are called upon to keep 'em marching, keep 'em flying, and keep 'em shooting. West Virginia plants producing war materials for the War and Navy departments are the Morgantown Ordnance Works, the Naval Ordnance Plant at South Charleston, the Marietta Manufacturing Company, and the new Ordnance Works at Point Pleasant. Freedom of the seas, traditional principle of American foreign policy, begins not on the decks of U.S. warships, but in the plants that arm them. Cannon and armor plate pour out of the big South Charleston Naval Ordnance Plant, while contractors rush to complete a $55 million addition. Thus, the principle of freedom of the seas draws much of its strength from a firm source, the mountains of West Virginia. Truly an arsenal of democracy is the Ordnance Works at Morgantown. Built in 1 year, this $50 million plant is at peak production, turning out the chemicals needed for the manufacture of high explosives. Here, West Virginia gas and West Virginia coal are converted into the basic nitrates that will blast aggression from the face of the earth. Under the direct supervision of U.S. Army engineers, the Ordnance Plant at Morgantown is an important cog in the military machinery of America. Its location in West Virginia is further evidence that the Mountain State is truly a bulwark of democracy. Point Pleasant on the Ohio, site of the first battle of the American Revolution, is today carrying on the battle for freedom. A huge TNT plant is under construction. From shipyards come minesweepers and net tenders, little sisters of the battle fleet. Skilled workmen cut, drill, rivet, and weld. Keels are laid, plates assembled, and a skeleton of steel becomes a powerful ship, ready to slide down the ways and enter the service of her country. After her first dip in the muddy waters of the Ohio, she will push on to the ocean to become a grim watchdog of the harbors, a vital unit of home defense. West Virginia is 1/48th of the nation, but within her boundaries lies a great part of U.S. resources. To make this vast natural wealth available to war industries all over the land requires the full cooperation of every citizen. To coordinate the varied activities within the state, Governor Matthew M. Neely meets with his advisory committee on defense problems, outlines plans to fit West Virginia's effort into the American Victory Program. The strength of a nation is measured in tons of coal and steel, barrels of oil, cubic feet of gas, cords of lumber, acres of productive land. No area on earth surpasses West Virginia as a storehouse of basic elements that are the sinews of a nation. And in this supreme test of strength, our mountain state is a tremendous factor in a world at war. Through the heart of West Virginia runs the fabulous Kanawha Valley, chemistry production laboratory of America. Here, the oil, coal, gas, and limestone of West Virginia are taken apart and put together again. And from the boiling cauldrons and steaming retorts flow 1,000 new products indispensable to war and peace. On a gigantic mass production schedule, ethers, alcohols, ammonia, and hundreds of byproducts pour from these plants into our nation's war machine. In addition to industrial chemicals, they produce explosives, plastics, and artificial rubber, which are rapidly reducing the need for raw rubber and silk, thereby writing a new paragraph into the American Declaration of Independence. From the Kanawha Valley, too, comes nylon, the magic fiber that has forever released America from total dependence upon silk imports from a treacherous Japan. The U.S. war machine moves on bearings of super-hardened steel, and the nickel to produce it comes from Huntington. Beneath the mountains of West Virginia lies the world's richest deposit of high-grade coal. From a mother lode of 1 billion tons, more than 100,000 miners brave the terrors underground to dig 130 million tons each year. Coal is the master fuel, the lifeblood of industry, the starting point of infinite industrial processes. The men of the mines are the production soldiers of West Virginia. From their toil comes the fuel that keeps the battleships on the high seas and feeds the fires of American industry. Fuel to light the torch of freedom, fuel to win the victory. To get the coal from West Virginia to the rest of the country is an industry in itself, and the yards at Williamson are among the largest in the world. West Virginia coal and the strong men who mine and move it will be a mighty force in winning the final victory. Industrial West Virginia owes her very existence to the abundance of natural gas which lies beneath her mountains. From the wells, the gas is piped to compressor stations and then through the pipelines to our own factories, to Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the states of the eastern seaboard. Pipelines, the blood vessels of 20th century industry, lead from the heart of West Virginia to the refineries of the nation. Tanks, ships, and planes are no better than the fuel that goes into them, and much of it comes from the mountain state. Yes, West Virginia possesses a fabulous wealth of all the things that make a nation strong. But equally important, she has developed a highly efficient system of controlling and distributing her vast resources, making them available to the nation and the enemies of aggression throughout the world. Production for war is more than a matter of equipment, for citizens must be fed whether they're in the combat forces or serving on the home front. Here again, the mountain state is doing more than its share. The farms of West Virginia produce beef cattle that are unsurpassed for quality anywhere in the United States. In the eastern panhandle, apple growing has become a major industry. Tons of apples, $5 million worth, are shipped from the fertile valleys of the panhandle every year. With the food problem becoming acute in many of the Allied nations, West Virginia apples are a major export. To meet the tremendous demand of Britain and our allied nations, as well as the domestic need, apple production in the panhandle has been stepped up to a new peak. Food can win the war, and West Virginia apples are powerful munitions in the battle for food. These apples from West Virginia will soon be served on the tables in the far corners of the world. Once again, the crash of falling trees is heard on every mountainside. Under the stimulus of a nation going to war, the lumber camps of West Virginia have come back to active life. Logging trucks ply the highways, bringing tons of wood from the camps to the mills. Lumber for army barracks, housing projects, and new construction. Lumber for shipyards and arsenals and factories. Lumber from West Virginia to meet the needs of a nation building for war. Machines, munitions, and men fight at the front. But it's the loggers, the miners, the farmers, and the laborers who fight the battle of production at home. In the limestone and bluegrass country, production efforts go into sheep herding, which means meat for the table, wool for the loom. With wool rapidly becoming a big priority item, every addition to the supply is an important contribution. Thus, another precious commodity produced by West Virginians enters the channels of trade to fill an urgent national necessity. West Virginia wool, too, is often processed right at home. From the farms, it moves to the textile mills of the eastern panhandle, which are among the largest in the world. Turning out socks, blankets, and overcoats for the Army, these giant mills are never idle. Millions of American boys must be outfitted with comfortable clothes before facing the enemy. Many of their garments will come from the mills of the eastern panhandle. In the worldwide battle of production, steel looms as the master metal. It is the center of the wartime universe. Steel for tanks and ships and guns. Steel for railroads, buildings, bridges. Hardened steel for tools, gears, and springs. High alloy steel for gauges, clocks, and meters. Tons of steel in a single piece to armor a battleship. A fractional ounce of steel to run a watch. Yes, steel is the key to modern war, and West Virginia produces it by the millions of tons. In the upper Ohio Valley, men of the mountain state toil and sweat in the merciless heat of the furnaces. 24 hours a day, the mills roar and screech and clang. Tons of steel pour like water from the converters. Ingots are flattened into sheets, and every mountainside rings with the noise of production. But it's more than noise, for above the sound you can hear freedom ringing. Behind the resources of West Virginia, behind her industries, lies a never-ending flow of power. Electric energy, transformed from the power of the mountain streams and from the nation's coal house, is put to use in 10,000 ways. To turn the wheels in a factory, to carry a message across a wire, to light the offices of men and women at work. When war came to West Virginia, a tremendous step-up of transportation facilities came with it. The Ohio, the Kanawha, the Monongahela were transformed into vital channels of war production. The world's most powerful locomotives were put into service to carry the freight through the valley and over the mountains. But neither the rivers nor the railroads could do the job alone. To a highway system already heavily burdened with commercial freight tonnage, there comes a new load. The war tonnage must go through, and much of it must be carried by the highways. It is the responsibility of the State Road Commission to make certain that the highways are able to assume this added burden. Road Commissioner Ernest L. Bailey, with his staff of engineers, travels constantly throughout the state to keep in personal touch with every highway condition. The military priority roads must now be given first consideration, and the state's long-term plan for road improvement must be laid aside for the duration. The Road Commission faces a 25 to 50% loss of income due to the curtailed use of passenger automobiles. But to bring the military roads to War Department specifications will cost $19 million. West Virginia's nearly 33,000 miles of state roads make up the nation's second-largest state highway system. 5 main highways have been designated as military priority roads by the War Department. They must be improved to meet War Department standards as fast as funds become available. In addition to the expenditures necessary on the 566 miles of the strategic network, access roads must also be built to key production centers. Our state road system must be made and kept adequate to carry raw materials to industry, finished products to the military centers, and industrial workers to their jobs and home again, while still carrying the civilian traffic necessary to the maintenance of the home front. Traffic congestion is a production bottleneck that must be eliminated. Blind intersections are intolerable hazards that waste time and precious lives. But these are not isolated cases. More than 20 such crossings are to be found on the strategic network alone. Old narrow highways and inadequate bridges cause serious traffic slowdowns. A bridge at Morgantown, designed to handle normal civilian traffic, is now completely inadequate to bear the 16,000 cars a day which cross it. On US 60, a vital link of the strategic network, a modern multiple-lane highway is bottlenecked by a 2-lane bridge at St. Albans. The Road Commission is thoroughly aware of these and similar conditions throughout the state highway system. The traffic must be made to move faster. Obstacles such as this hold up production for victory. But elimination of these transportation bottlenecks and traffic hazards calls for expensive new roads. As funds become available, they will be eliminated one by one. But for the duration of the war, only those projects absolutely essential to full prosecution of the war can be undertaken. The federal government has made it clear that only those roads certified as necessary by the Army or Navy can be built. All others must wait for post-war construction. Thus, it becomes a patriotic duty of all of us to realize that all new road construction must be determined by our wartime needs. These conditions usually call for expensive relocations, and in designing relocations, the Road Commission must anticipate future traffic volume. Every new road must be adequate to satisfy the traffic demands of tomorrow. This often necessitates deep and expensive cuts, such as the relocation project on US 52 near Welch. Here, the road builders must blast their way through mountains of solid rock to establish a roadbed that will give service in the years to come. West Virginia's mountain roads, on the average, cost a third more to grade and drain than valley roads, which follow a more level right-of-way. With every one of the state's 55 counties classified as mountainous for road building purposes, costs are enormous, sometimes reaching as high as $200,000 a mile. To provide room for a roadway near Montgomery, it was necessary to cut deeply into a mountain. More than 560,000 cubic yards of stone were removed, and every yard had to be hauled a distance of 1 mile because it could not be used in the roadbed. On this project, construction costs alone amounted to more than $377,000. On Route 259, the situation was much the same. To lay the roadbed, part of a mountain had to be cut away. The motorist speeds by the cut with hardly a thought for the man-hours of labor and the costs involved in building the road. In some cases, it is impossible to relocate a road so that traffic hazards and inconvenience will be eliminated. But roads must go through nevertheless. The answer is to build an overpass, such as the project at Norton on US 33. Here, a dangerous railroad crossing and a narrow bridge will both be eliminated. But again, construction costs are high and materials are at a premium. One of the most difficult highway construction jobs in West Virginia has been undertaken at the Narrows between Moundsville and Wheeling by the Prison Labor Division of the State Road Commission. The Narrows is one of several road projects being carried out under Governor Neely's plan to utilize prison labor. By this humanitarian program, more than 1,200 prisoners are now engaged in building and maintaining the highways of West Virginia. Instead of depressing confinement behind prison walls, these men are enjoying the out-of-doors and the satisfaction of doing useful work. The Narrows project entails cutting away a bluff which overlooks the Ohio River on State Route 2. A modern 4-lane highway will soon replace a solid wall of rock, another substantial achievement of Governor Neely's prison labor program. The roads of West Virginia represent an investment of more than $600 million. These roads must be adequately maintained or the investment will be quickly lost. Costly new construction is needed on military roads and needed now. Heavy bonded indebtedness must be paid before anything else can be done. Revenue is down, costs are up. That briefly is the highway problem of West Virginia. Meeting and overcoming this problem will require interest in and cooperation with the plans of the State Road Commission by every citizen. The roads we are building today are immediate necessities of war, but they are also civic assets of the future. Today, we build highways for victory. Tomorrow, those same roads will carry us to a greater America. The road will through. If mountains intervene, mountains must be moved. No effort is too great, for when we build a road, we are building America. We of the Mountain State are proud of our place in the nation. Our resources, our factories, our people are pledged to complete victory. Governor Neely appeals to his fellow West Virginians for full and unreserved cooperation. This is war, total war, and the hand of every man must be clenched around the sword hilt if we are to gain final victory. Never shall we lay down our arms until we have made certain that mountaineers and all Americans will be forever free.